He drove up here from South Texas, Dr. Group, one of the top product developers in the country, and a good friend of mine. Global Healing Center is his organization. And quite frankly, I tried to get the formula from him the last 2 years to let us put this out, and he never did because he'd already developed it. He's developed the X2 with us. We're going to skip this network break. He has developed so many other amazing products, super male vitality, super female vitality. He helped us develop Oxy-Powder. And again, these are high-quality products, but we fund our operation with quality. So it's a win for us. It's a win for you to get a high-quality product, a win for us, a win for you, that you then promote a platform of aggressive liberty. This is what it's all about. So Dr. Group has helped us on so many fronts at InfoWarsLife.com. And now on InfoWarsLife.com, we are selling Oxy-Powder. And what happened is, anybody can see I've lost even more weight, and I'm just glowing compared to what I looked like a couple of years ago with the products he helped us develop. And it just gets better and better. Well, they finally convinced me to a couple nights a week do a detox and start taking Oxy-Powder. That he's the world leader in this. There's a few knockoffs out there, but he's the progenitor of it. It's his main global line. Oxygen-based intestinal cleanser. And it is literally oxygen tablets. He's going to break down how it works that go into the intestines. You take these at night. It goes through the stomach into the intestines. And boy, let me tell you, you want something that cleans you out. You want to, me personally, I just started this 2 weeks ago. I lost 10 pounds. My belly went down because it wasn't fat, folks. It was my gut. I'm not going to get into details here, but life-changing. And I'm going to go from taking it 2 or 3 nights a week to 7 nights a week. You got to build up to it to flush my guts out. Think if John Wayne would have only had this. Oxy-Powder, oxygen-based intestinal cleanser dietary supplement. He's not here. He didn't even come up here to plug this today. But I said, no, we're going to talk about it. Plus, it funds InfoWars.com. It funds our whole operation. What we're doing here, this is the out-of-the-park product. InfoWarsLife.com. 120 vegetarian-based capsules. I'm done ranting about that, Dr. Group. I want to get into Ebola. I want to get into how toxins enter the body, how to truly detox. This is part of it. But let's just plug out of the gates here. And, you know, infomercial now. How did you develop it? Why does it work so well? Because I'd taken Kaido sand. I'd done other herbal cleanses. They did something. This is dramatic.
Well, first of all, when I was doing my research years ago and looking for the root cause of disease, what I found was I was looking at the medical profession saying, what are they not teaching their doctors? What is the big secret that Big Pharma never wants you to find?
My personal trainer says, what's going on, dude? Your stomach has gone down by half in 2 weeks. Sorry, go ahead.
People will lose 10 to 15 pounds, and a lot of that's compaction because you have 35 feet of intestinal tract, about 10 feet of large intestine and 25 feet of small intestine. And when you put toxic residue year after year after year after year, it can build up, especially in your small intestine. So, Hollywood, this product was developed in 1998, and even people from Hollywood have used it to drop dress size, 1 or 2 sizes of their dress, the women, before the Emmys and all the other things. But the good thing about it is, yeah, it's not fat loss. It's that compacted, built up matter that you've had that turns hard as a rock for years and years and years and years in your system. And
just like you get plaque in your arteries, you get it in your intestines.
The reason why I developed this product, who came up with the formula initially was Nikola Tesla and Eugene Bloss in a hotel room in 1898. They came up with a way to stabilize monatomic oxygen onto a magnesium compound. Now, the reason why it works so good, and what I discovered when I started doing the research and tracing back a link to every single disease and symptoms that a body can have, was that health starts in the intestinal tract or colon, and disease also starts in the intestinal tract and colon. When I found out and linked, all the toxins that you're taking in from food, everything that you're getting from the beverages that you drink, the acidity that comes into the bowel, every single thing starts in the intestinal lining in the bowel. From the time that you look at food.
But explain how this works, because at first I was kind of scared. I'm like, oxygen tablets is going to puff up my gut. And you're like, no, it's designed to go through and time release with what you developed and patented. Explain that to people. It's amazing.
Right. Okay, so what happens is...
I thought it would hurt or something. It doesn't.
Well, most people aren't having, 2 to 3 bowel movements a day, number one, so they need help. I mean, the fact is, it's normal nowadays for people to have 2 or 3 bowel movements a week instead of 2 or 3 bowel movements a day like the animals. But how it works is if we want to get everything out of the intestinal lining on a regular basis, I was looking at what is the best and safest way to do it. Started looking at, the psyllium husk, the Metamucil, the over-the-counter laxatives, but all those cause damage to the bowel. There's only one natural and safe way that you can actually oxidize. Those things just scrape the wall.
Oxygen kills everything bad in the body.
Or some of those intestinal cleansers like laxatives will suck the water into the bowel, and then you can go into dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, stuff like that. But oxygen, a reactive oxygen species, is actually going to have an electron to give. So most of the toxins and the compaction that are in your bowel is positively charged. So this works in an oxidation reduction form. So it actually turns the solid matter into a liquid or a gas.
Well, think about how oxygen out in the open eats steel. I mean, it's really powerful.
Right. So we're already oxygen deficient anyway. I mean, we've gone from 28, 32% oxygen in the air down to like 6 and 9% sometimes in cities. So we actually need more oxygen in the body. And once the oxygen goes in, once it goes in and it mixes with the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, millions of little oxygen bubbles are released. It's kind of like that commercial, that scrubbing bubbles commercial, where it just scrubs all the way down your intestinal lining and actually oxidizes and melts away all that stuff. See, there's nothing else out there that's going to actually melt it away. The bulk fiber products that people take are just going to bulk up in the intestines and maybe scrape a little bit off the sides, but nothing's going to actually chew all the way through and melt everything down.
And I've already in 2 weeks after Anthony was like, look, just take it. You'll want to carry it. And I was like, really? Because, I've never messed with my guts. And I've taken, some of the fiber stuff. I don't have a lot of issues, so I didn't think I really needed it. Well, I guess I did have issues because it's just incredible how much weight I've lost. Like I said, it wasn't even really the fat. That's been slowly going away with exercise and supplementation and eating better. But this literally just suddenly my belly got smaller. It literally is amazing.
It doesn't matter if you're stressed out. I mean, every single disorder is associated with the gut. And that's what I was telling you when I was doing my research. I found out that the medical profession doesn't want to teach their doctors too much about the guts. I talked to gastroenterologists that didn't even really know what was going on with the gut and how to regulate the gut, because they know that if everybody finds out how simple it is to heal your body, prevent disease by just keeping the gut cleansed on a regular basis, then everybody would be doing it. I mean, it's like animals. You don't see constipated animals out in nature and squirrels not going to the bathroom and birds flying over and not going to the bathroom. But you have a constipated nation, and they want it that way. It's one of those systems that's been put into place for eugenics.
Bill and Melinda Gates are obsessed and have spent billions patenting everything to do with gut disorders.
That's right.
And we know that from medical doctors that the vaccines are connected in autism to gut disorders that then obviously affects the brain, because we know the gut is connected.
70% of your immune system, 70 to 75% of your immune system is located in your gut. They know if you take out the gut, you take out the body. That's why it's so important to make sure that your gut is healthy. You avoid the things that damage the gut.
That's why they say go with your gut.
That's right, because everybody, you might be suffering. Well, think about it this way. 95% of the pharmaceutical drugs cause constipation, because they know they don't want you to eliminate your food very fast. They want it to sit inside your system, because the carbohydrates will ferment, the proteins will turn putrefactic, and the fats will turn rancid. And then you'll have a chemical slough inside your intestines. Not only that, but why are they introducing genetically modified foods with the Bt toxin? It burns holes through your gut. All these... They
admit it kills your regular flora.
Why do they put starches and proteins together? Like bread and meats together. They know that causes irregularities. Why do they... once you put chemicals in there like MSG to make food taste better, artificial sweeteners, sugar, white flour, I mean, all of it is designed to wreak havoc on your gut. If you take out the gut, you take out the immune system. If you constipate people, then you're going to have more sickness, more disease, and everything else. So my whole philosophy is you need to be cleansing and flushing your gut out at least 2 or 3 times a week. and repairing that gut lining so your body can naturally reactivate its own self-healing mechanism.
Well, if folks go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com, you can find the Oxy-Powder by Global Healing Center that Dr. Group developed decades ago. This is his main flagship product he's developed worldwide, and we have it at InfoWarsLife.com. When you purchase it there, you support the entire transmission. Again, that's InfoWarsLife.com. And we have it a little bit discounted out of the gates today for everybody. While you're there, try the Survival Shield X2 from the crystal iodine deep earth source that nobody else has. Try the Super Male Vitality, the Super Female Vitality. Quite frankly, if you go back 18 years ago when I was getting death threatened and doing all this, I thought they'd kill me. I thought I'd get put in prison. I was working 16 hours a day on average. I went from being in great shape to not working out for 15 years, went from 185 pounds to 270-plus pounds. I've gone down to 220 pounds. It's taken me 5 years of trying to change my lifestyle, trying to exercise. I did the lifestyle change, the exercise. It only made me lose 20 pounds. Then getting into supplements, getting into the products, InfoWars Health, InfoWars Life, getting into the iodine, getting into the Super Male Vitality that helped get my glands in order. That's where the last few years the bigger changes come, even though I'm older. And now that I've done the oxygen, it was like, my gosh, I mean, you guys would tell me every week, you'd call, hey, you got to try that. Anthony would call me the last few times 2 weeks ago and go, look, man, I'm telling you, I take this stuff a couple times a week. You got to take it. I know you're losing weight. This will supercharge it. You got to flush your guts out. And quite frankly, I was like, I don't have a problem with my gut. And, you know, oxygen tablets in my stomach. And he's like, well, it will be dramatic, but, you know, it's safe. So I finally did it. And it is amazing. InfoWarsLife.com. This is definitely something when you get it, the Oxy-Powder at InfoWars Life, definitely, I mean, there's going to be rave reviews because I know what happened to me. And I'm only building up to 2 or 3 pills, you know, a couple nights a week. I know finally you get to, what, 5 pills a night?
Everybody's different. Just depends on, you know, your gut and who you are and what you're eating. You know, that's why we say take 2 every night until you have 3 to 5 bowel movements the following day. Once you have 3 to 5 bowel movements the following day, that's your recommended dose.
And by the way, people can make jokes about this on the internet later. We're being serious here, folks.
This is serious stuff.
This is why you got so many kids that have autism, because the toxins being formed in the gut, because of the BT factor, the shots, all of it. This is serious.
Listen, if you want to address, people think that they don't have problems with their gut. 10 out of 10 people, 100 out of 100, 1,000 out of 1,000 people have problems with their gut. It's linked to depression, anxiety, fatigue, weight gain.
Yeah, people have nothing to lose. Bottom line,
it all starts from the gut.
You're funding the operation. This is what Group is most proud of. Now I know why. It's over the top. InfoWarsLife.com, 888-253-3139. We're going to shift gears to Ebola and a lot more coming up. Stay. She had the whole show, and that's a natural fact. Live on now. All right, Dr. Group is here with me. Actually had his mic on earlier coming in. He was talking about how the Chinese have tried to secretly get his proprietary system for Oxy-Powder. This is the global leader. And then I'm done talking about it. He has the proprietary system. Others have tried to imitate it. They can't. Where it opens up in the intestines and then literally blows it out of there and literally interacts with the plaques, I guess the pre-diverticula, I guess you would call it, that's in there to boil all this out. And it's just amazing that this system literally doesn't want people to know about this. And you were talking about talking to gastrointestinal experts, medical doctors. They're not even aware of it.
Yes, that's right. I mean, as I was doing research and kept going further and further and further, it was amazing to me that our medical scientists, the best in the world that supposedly know about everything in the human body, still didn't know about the appendix or what the appendix does. And when I was studying the intestinal tract and learning so much about how all this works and how the holes are getting burnt in there and why people aren't, cleaning their intestines on a regular basis and how all this led to disease. And then I stumbled across the appendix and I'm like, let me pull up some medical literature on the appendix. You know, it's got to be important in the body. It's right there at the juncture of the small intestine and the large intestine, and there was nothing there. I was like, wait a second, why is this being hidden? Why is this being hidden?
They say the appendix and the gallbladder are vestigial that's obviously not true.
Oh, not at all. I mean, I had to actually dig up Russian documents and German documents and have them translated to figure out what the appendix was. And then it was just like, oh my gosh, the appendix is the microcomputer system of your whole body. You think your brain is, but really it's the appendix. The appendix controls your neurological system, your endocrine system, all of the systems of the body. It tells the body what's coming in, what's going out. Why wouldn't your microcomputer be located in your intestines? That's the first exposure point to every single thing that comes into your body. And the appendix is what controls all that and what sends the messages, and it's about the size of your penis.
By the way, just reading medical literature every day because I'm a news hound, I've seen mainline news over the years admitting that they'd, quote, found cells in the intestines that communicate with the spine and the brain. It's all interconnected. That's why they say go with your gut, because your brain's communicating with your stomach, and it's literally like dinosaurs had multiple brains. Well, we basically do. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. The brain of the body is actually the appendix. And so what happens when the appendix becomes inflamed is that you've poisoned it and it's become inflamed. And so what does modern medicine do? They take it out. And then you have all kinds of health problems after that. I mean, that's just one.
Well, they say the gallbladder's not needed.
Right.
But from what I've read, they know it helps detox the liver. It's the liver's trash can, right?
Right. When the liver is congested and the liver is toxic, the gallbladder gets congested, stones start to form in the gallbladder, and then you have a gallbladder attack. And instead of taking medicinal herbs to loosen it up, turn those stones into sponges so they can pass through the ducts, so they can be pushed out of the body, we take the whole gallbladder out. And then the liver has to work and start.
So basically, from what I've read medically, but I'm doing this in layman terms, the liver vomits out poison after it's processed it into the back in to the guts to be flushed out.
The liver has detoxification systems, and it takes the nutrients, it takes the toxins, and converts some toxins into usable forms, or it takes the nutrients and converts them into usable forms for the body. The problem is, it's like an oil filter in your car. If you don't change your oil filter, and your oil filter becomes congested, and the blood can't pump through it, and it can't work properly, then the liver also has stones in it, which most people don't know. They think that the gallbladder just has stones. When's the last time you've seen a doctor do an ultrasound of the liver? They just don't do it. They don't want you to know. It's like another organ. The intestines and the liver are actually the two most important organs in the body that need to be cleansed on a regular basis, because the liver becomes so congested. It's like high blood pressure. You know, when someone has high blood pressure, it's not that you have high blood pressure. It's that your liver is so congested and full of stuff that the blood can't even pump through it anymore. And the heart has to pump faster and harder to push the blood through it. So it backs up, and then all of a sudden.
I was reading about the liver. It can be upwards of half dead and grow back. I mean, it is just amazing.
Yes, and the liver regenerates itself every 90 days. That's why, but in order to clean the liver, you need to have healthy intestines. That's why I always start off with intestinal cleansing and then move on to liver and gallbladder cleansing. And there's nothing or no symptom that can't be rectified by just cleansing your body. That's why people did fasting. That's why, people do juicing and they get results.
That's why the Bible said fast and then take herbs. They would eat the herbs at Passover and things like that.
Exactly. I mean, the intestines is just your skin turned inside out. It's made of epithelial tissue just like your skin. And as a matter of fact, when we came out with Oxy-Powder, people with all kinds of skin conditions, especially acne, all of it started going away, and I had to actually sign an agreement with one of the Oxy companies that came out with a patent for the little pads that you use to rub on your face. The Oxy-Powder was working so good, and people were writing about it online, but they had the patent for oxy and acne, so I had to actually take any claims off in referencing acne for the product. But the point I'm trying to make is, anything that you have going on in your skin is also a direct result of what's going on in your bowel. So once you clean your bowel, everything starts to clean up. Your skin starts to clean up. The organs start to clean up. You start having regular bowel movements. People think that they have one bowel movement a day is okay. And I talk to people all the time, and they say that they drink a cup of coffee in the morning, they have a bowel movement, and they're fine. Well, what coffee does is actually cause inflammation and irritation to the bowel. That's why you have that bowel movement. People need to focus on eating clean foods, avoid toxic beverages, avoid the MSG, avoid the GMO foods. Really what wreaks havoc on the intestinal lining is a combination of all those things, especially gluten now as well. So my recommendations are, clean your intestines on a regular basis. The herbal formulas out there, if you want to use them every now and then, that's fine. But the only way you're really going to truly clean the intestines is with oxygen cleansing. And once your intestines are clean, and you're getting that stuff out of your body on a regular basis, it doesn't have time to soak in. Just imagine if you're taking in 1,000 particles of fluoride and pesticides and endocrine disrupting chemicals every day and BPAs and all this other stuff, and they sit inside your intestines. Within 3 days, they have time to leak through and then go to your organs and cause disease. But if you're cleansing your bowel on a regular basis, those chemicals that cause the disease aren't able to get into your bloodstream and then, cause you to have all the type of symptoms or develop the diseases that you might have.
Well, I tell you, for the age you are, you look like you're 10 years younger than you are.
Yeah, and I take Oxy-Powder and clean my bowels all the time, but I eat healthy too. I eat organic, and water is another big thing. Most people are dehydrated, and your bowels need water. You need to flush the pipe. Just think if you had a pipe-like trash can and you didn't have a liner in it, and you threw your food in there, every time, and then you emptied the trash can out. And the next day you threw all your food particles in there and you emptied the trash can. Every day would be a small layer of food particles building up on that trash can. And after 30 years, the trash can that was originally this big, the hole in it might be this big. And if you're not taking that trash can and hosing it down and rinsing it out every day, that's the problem.
Yeah, it's all really gross, so I'm not going to get into it, but it's absolutely true. And it is just, it's so incredible how they've suppressed all this information because they want us sick, because they want to treat the illnesses. They don't want to actually get rid of them. They don't want to find out why breast cancer or diabetes is exploding, even though we know why. They want to just treat it. Yeah, it's just incredible. Dr. Group is our guest. I'm Alex Jones. If you just joined us, we covered a lot of really hardcore police state news, you name it. Obama set to announce all these military actions against who he armed, ISIS. That's coming up tonight. We've got Colonel Schaefer joining us in the next hour, and our reporters are going to be popping in as well. But while we have you here with us, I want to show for TV viewers, radio listeners, can just go to NoWorldOrder.com or PrisonPlanet.com to find this. Video model shows how Ebola will spread. It only takes one infection individually making it through an airport checkpoint. Health officials around the world are scrambling to contain the Ebola virus. And this breaks down how it could literally get to millions if just one carrier gets through. It's clearly gone somewhat airborne. That was in the medical data 2 years ago, mainline science. It's not super airborne, but it can in spit particles or mucus particles sneezed out transfer from apes to humans, or in the studies from monkeys to pigs. And a month ago, this was already the biggest Ebola outbreak ever. Now you've got 2,300 plus deaths, and half of those are in the last 21 days. It's reaching that exponential number because now it doesn't show up in 3 days if you get Ebola. It shows up in a couple of weeks. They think it's mutating. We know it has a history of being genetically manipulated by different Western governments. Here's what I'm saying. We know that mass plagues have killed a third of Europe, the Black Plague. We know that this stuff can be real. We know the Spanish flu killed tens of millions at the end of World War I. So I'm concerned about this. If there's a real outbreak, we're not going to be told, though. My great-uncle died last November. He lived across the street from my uncle. My aunt had taken care of my great-uncle. My cousin, who lived nearby, Peter, got a respiratory issue, was home a few days, found dead in the morning. My uncle had taken care of him. He fought it for a month, and the doctors said that there in Tyler that it was the most full the hospital had ever been. With people with respiratory, they said it was bacteria, it was virus, it was a whole bunch of stuff. They said it was normal strep that had mutated, and it killed him. I mean, I'm looking at this next winter coming up. My dad got it. Hadn't been this sick in his life. Took him a month and a half to kick it. I, like an idiot, went to the medical doctor. They gave me antibiotics. It went away for 2 weeks, came right back. I'd never been this sick. I'm somebody that used to get sick like every 2 or 3 years. Then, Dr. Group, I just went ahead and drank like 3 bottles of colloidal silver over a week, and it went away. I mean, why didn't I do that to begin with? And I'm not saying that's a panacea. It's just that it's so incredible that we already know if there's a real plague, they're not going to tell us. What do you think about the Ebola situation? What are you doing for you and your family? I'm not worried about Ebola getting here. I mean, it might happen, but it's certainly ravaging Africa right now. It's terrible. But they're talking about it ending governments, ending states over there. It's so bad. But what about a mousepox? What about a smallpox? What about a mutated black plague? What about a mutated, just run-of-the-mill bacteria from all the GMO, all of the antibiotics in the chickens? I mean, it's only a matter of time. We're already seeing the plagues in our kids from vaccines and stuff. What does your gut tell you?
My gut and the research, just like you've been putting out, shows that we're going to be dealing with a lot of bioweapons here. I mean, we're already dealing with them. So, there's a couple different ways and solutions. I mean, the solution, really, the strongest defense against bioweapons or any type of these viruses or mycoplasms and pleomorphic organisms, which we're seeing now that the viruses can actually change into a bacteria, and that bacteria can change into a mycoplasm, et cetera, is keeping your body clean and healthy. I mean, your immune system is the strongest defense against anything. When the attack it's a twofold attack. They attack your body, they attack your immune system, they lower it down, and the media will create fear, and fear creates extra cortisol production and stress. Well, they know when you're stressed out and you're fearful, your immune system's going to be down by 70%.
So the panic, instead of being in charge and ready, we're supposed to just not have storable food, not have guns, wait and just panic. No, I find it more reassuring to be prepared, but you're saying being prepared and being confident is actually part of beating it.
Well, yes. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people out there don't pay attention, and they just believe what they hear on mainstream news, and they're not going to be prepared. As a matter of fact, they're going to be in a fearful state. They're already. I talk to people every day that are scared, calling my office about Ebola outbreaks. Those are the people that are actually looking for natural. A lot of people out there are waiting for the vaccine. They're sitting there praying, and they're calling the CDC, and they're calling the...
Notice we're seeing record weird respiratory illnesses in children right after the yearly vaccination. It came out last year that the whooping cough was caused by the vaccine all over the country.
That's right.
But they admitted it in California. Their medical doctors went, no, it's the vaccine.
They're begging for a trial Ebola vaccine right now that hasn't even been proven. You have... From
Monsanto.
Yes, you have like 90% of the population that would line up right now at the local drugstore and get injected and not even know what's in that needle.
Bill and Melinda Gates are involved in it.
That's right. Yep. Trace back to the bioweapons, facility. But the thing is, for the listeners... you have the solutions in front of you. I mean, you've been talking about it. I talk about it, stocking up on iodine, which there's never been any virus, bacteria, fungus, any organism that's ever shown a resistance to iodine, to my knowledge. And if anyone has it, show it to me, because I've never seen it. Okay, so you have a stock of iodine. You keep your intestines clean. You keep your body clean. You reduce your stress levels if you possibly can. I mean, with meditation, that's a big, huge thing that contributes to, living in the parasympathetic state instead of living in the sympathetic state. You keep a strong hand of colloidal silver around your house, enough for your whole...
Breathe in 3 seconds, breathe out 5, right? That's been helping me a lot with anger.
Sure. 9 deep breaths has been shown to take you from a sympathetic state into a parasympathetic state. And when we're talking about, digestion, you should do that before you eat, too, because a lot of times people have gut problems is that they're eating in a stressed environment. Taking 9 deep breaths before you eat puts you in a situation to where your body can actually absorb food. So being prepared, whether it's Ebola, smallpox, any type of plague, if your immune system's strong, you have clean water, you have clean food, you have silver, oregano oil, which is broad spectrum, MMS, which is another thing that I have, chaparral, some good antivirals, you're going to be in good shape, and you're going to be the one you and your family are going to be the ones that survive, and unfortunately the people that are going to be running out for the vaccines and getting on antibiotics, which is the biggest joke in the world, to put people on antibiotics when they have viral and fungal and other type of,
Well, my great uncle couldn't breathe. They put him in the hospital. He got back out, gave it to my family probably, and then it killed more people. I mean, it just shows they admit the stuff in these hospitals is the superbugs that almost nothing can kill. I mean, I guess they call them immortal cell lines. What happens when bacteria mutate that have an immortal cell line? For folks that don't know what an immortal cell line is, we'll come back and talk about that on the other side. It's real. They have viral and bacterial cellular cancer cells from the 1950s that are still alive in Petri dishes with no food. They don't die. They're actual zombie cells. What happens if we get zombie bacteria? It'll end up being like the Andromeda strain. I mean, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're dealing here with, and it's just crazy. We'll be right back. We got some good news and some bad news. It's 4 to 6 weeks till the DNA forces in, and it'll probably sell out in a day. But then next time I'll try to produce enough. It's crazy. Of course, there have been famous cases of these immortal cell lines. You can just Google that, and it'll be encyclopedias. In fact, I'm showing viewers an electron microscope scan of immortal cell lines, basically cancer that never dies. And the globalists are big into researching this, trying to find the key to immortality. It was a black lady named Henrietta Lacks who got killed by cancer like in a week, just a super cancer. And they have since found others, rarely, but it's very rare, that have immortal cancer. What happens when you get a bacteria or something like this? Because they're trying to build living nanotech that's basically programmed life. Dr. Group, so many disasters have come out of just raw research. These gene guns they've got, firing DNA and RNA into animal genetics, trying to create mutations. God knows when this stuff's going to get out of control, and I think it is going to be Mother Nature's, God's balance, that'll end up taking it out. I'm afraid of what the establishment's going to do. I mean, does Barack Obama think he's safe in a bunker from some type of nanotech bacteria?
I think that he doesn't even know a lot of, what some of the higher up people than him know. I think that they do. Well, I have verified that there is frequency-based equipment. It goes back to Royal Raymond Rife, who developed certain frequencies, who had a... There's
a lot of kook stuff out there and people taking advantage of it, but the technology's real. Well, yeah. The Queen of England gets frequency treatments.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to deal with, erratic cell lines and cell lines. They use viral particles to transfer these cell lines into your own RNA and DNA, and that's when it becomes a problem, because when your cells replicate, when your RNA and DNA get altered, and then your cell replicates, it's there. I mean, it's a pattern in your RNA and DNA. It's hard to get rid of. Yes, you can keep your body clean, and you can, take cell fusion and work at the cellular level to decrease the ability of your telomeres to shorten. But I think the wave of the future, and what we've been looking into, I was on the original Rife research team back in 1998 that was evaluating some of his research, and I actually owned Rife's original lab manual. Now, he had a high-powered microscope that could actually view virus and bacteria, and saw that those bacteria and viruses were changing form, and that's when he developed certain frequencies.
You've done so many interesting things. We should do a whole show on that lab you owned. That is incredible.
Right. Yeah. I actually donated a lot of stuff to the World Research Foundation because I was afraid someone was going to break in and steal it from me, because I had Rife's original notes in my hand and a lot of other stuff, too, that, government officials would have liked to have gotten their hands on. So
we know they raided Tesla.
They do. And Tesla's technology is, hopefully some of that's coming out now and more of it will come out. But
suppressed by the Rockefellers. And by the other supposed inventors, J.P. Morgan and others, for a long time.
Yeah, and I think in the future, when we get attacked with all this stuff, we're being attacked right now. That's why we're trying to give people, develop the InfoWars Life product line so people can protect themselves.
That's a whole nother show, because Nico just popped in my head and reminded me it was J.P. Morgan mainly. J.P. Morgan, that literally runs the New World Order, has all that secret technology on record.
They do.
They, with the FBI, got it. I mean, that's mainstream television admits that.
Right.
I mean, they've got all that stuff. It's just incredible. Thomas Edison, what a joke compared to Tesla. I mean, Tesla probably had like a 300 IQ.
Oh, yeah.
It's just...
It is a joke. I mean, the technology that they have at the underground facilities that have been built all over the United States are technologies where they can transfer frequencies and use frequencies on cells.
Stay there. 5 more minutes. It's amazing. the way, folks, I don't make stuff up. People know that. Occasionally I make a mistake. I told you it would take 12 weeks to get more DNA for us because we got to buy some of the stuff from Mitsubishi and others. And then the FDA is involved, and it's like $12,000 a kilo. And I mean, these really are superior products. We bought most of the Oxy-Powder, which is his flagship product at the Global Healing Center. So at the rate it's selling, it may all sell out, but then he can probably make it quicker, but it could be out for a few weeks. So if you want your Oxy-Powder, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. That's what's great about my listeners knowing that I tell the truth and I mean what I'm saying. I just wear the truth on my sleeve. We're funding our operation, selling high-quality products that are revolutionary so that people keep buying them and want more to fund us telling the truth. I mean, it's real simple. I don't sell something I don't use. I would never sell this. You've been trying to get me to for 2 years because I'm like, oxygen pills in my gut? It sounded weird, and I'm ignorant. I admit it. You were right. It's the best product you've got. And I mean, hell, when you lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks and people are like, what's going on? I mean, it's amazing.
I know.
I didn't mean to go off on a jag. I wanted to get into Tesla.
I walked in today, and since the last time I was in the studio, probably about a month ago, and I was like, oh, my gosh, look how much weight you've lost.
Yeah, I mean, I got to take the shirt off because, I got a big torso, so I sit down. There's still a little bit of a belly, but standing up, it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone.
You look great. You look great.
I mean, as soon as I lose more weight, I mean, it's just amazing.
Here's the thing. With Oxy-Powder, you see results. And go on. You can look online. There's thousands and thousands of reviews out there. You start noticing a difference the next day.
Man, I was a total fat ass just a year ago.
And you weren't.
Wait till I take my clothes off, man. It's just like, anyways.
Yeah, you'll be ripped solid. I mean, it's amazing what happens when you get rid of all that junk in your gut. I mean, the thing is, you can take this tonight. And I recommend people take it at night before they go to bed. So they're laying down slowly. It's chewing through all that stuff. They get up in the morning. They have a few bowel movements. All of it comes out. And you're energized in the morning when you wake up.
I am energized.
Actually get out of bed.
I worked out for almost 2 hours this morning, even though I had important stuff to do. An hour and 45. Usually an hour is grueling. I just wanted to do more.
That's the extra oxygen that's going into your system. It's amazing. I mean, you feel stronger. You're energized. You sleep better at night. And you just, in the morning, it's just like, whoosh, you flush everything out of there.
The guys have said the last 2 weeks that I have more clarity on air. Guys, have you not been saying that? He's turning his mic
every day.
He didn't even know he's coming. I mean, it's really working.
It is amazing.
But it's the fusion of the iodine and everything.
It's everything. Look, this product, Oxy-Powder, for example, has actually gone through phase 1, 2, and 3 clinical trials, FDA-approved clinical trials for constipation and irritable bowel syndrome. People are suffering from gas, bloating. How many women do you know and guys out there that are just have excess?
This could end up, I know you've had this for decades and you perfected it, but this could end up being bigger than probiotics that I know you endorse.
Yeah, no, this is huge. I mean, this is like if you have a solution to, if you can address that and attack the root cause of all disease, which is the intestinal lining. All the other stuff is great, but this actually works on preventing all of the stuff that cause disease and symptoms from entering your body and keeps the most important system in your body. The intestines are the biggest endocrine gland. You know, they regulate serotonin. When you're stressed out, you know, it affects the intestines. Everything in your body starts from the intestinal tract. If you can keep it clean a couple times a week, increase the oxygen content into your intestines, drink more water.
Well, we know cancer doesn't like oxygen.
We know cancer doesn't like it. It's an anaerobic cell line. So when you know, it'd be interesting to see. I've never heard a report from anybody, and we've had people taking this product for close to 20 years. I've never had a report of anybody developing colon cancer while on this product. I've never, ever had that happen. Now, I'm not saying and making any claims, but if you keep your intestines, that's the best way to prevent anything.
You mean 2 + 2 = 4?
Pretty much.
That's kind of racist. Thank you, Dr. Grip.